It's the second of 3 races back-to-back. We move away from the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalonia and over to Spielberg, Austria. It's a sprint weekend at the Red Bull Ring ahead of the 2024 Austrian Grand Prix. In terms of the calendar, this is the last weekend in June where we'll have a race. Next time out, the British Grand Prix at Silverstone marks the halfway point as we enter July. Then we go over with Hungary and Belgium leading us to the summer break. August sees us at the Netherlands, while September takes us to Italy, Azerbaijan and Singapore. October sees us in the United States at the Circuit of the Americas. Mexico then takes us into November with Brazil, Las Vegas. Then in December, Qatar, the season rounding out in Abu Dhabi. In the Drivers' Championship, Max Verstappen leads on 219 points. Lando Norris now moves up to second, 2 points clear to Charles Leclerc. Carlos Sainz is fourth, followed by Sergio Perez in fifth. Then it's a big gap to Oscar Piastri in sixth, who's close by with George Russell. Lewis Hamilton is on 70 points for another gap before Alonso and Tsunoda round out the top 10. On the second half, it's Lance Stroll on 17 ahead of Daniel Ricciardo, who's on 9. Ollie Behrman has 6 points, same as Nico Hulkenberg. Gasly's on 5, Ocon on 3, moves ahead of Albon on 2, Magnussen on 1, Zhou, Bottas and Sargent still no points. In the Constructors' Championship, Red Bull lead the way on 330 points. Ferrari have 270. McLaren have 237 for another big gap before Mercedes on 151. Aston Martin have 58, they're cleared to RB on 28. Alpine have 8, move ahead of Haas who have 7. Williams have 2. Kick Sauber still no points in 2024. Let's take a look at the Red Bull Ring here in Spielberg, Austria. 2.683 miles, 10 corners, 3 DRS zones. It's a short track race and Formula One fans and drivers absolutely love it. So attack the last 2 corners correctly as well. Get a good run out of Red Bull Mobile and up towards the first corner, Niki Lauda curve. This is going to be a maximum attack, uphill, a short little braking spot from maximum gear, down 2, flick the car in, control your exit, don't get too wide in the exit curve as well, otherwise you'll invalidate your lap time. On the run then, avoid the new MotoGP layout as you come up through the kink at 2 and then into turn 3. This is going to be Remus. Lights on the brakes, uphill, then attack, down. DRS opportunity number 2 coming your way as you approach turn 4 at Sochler's Gold. A fantastic braking downhill section, perfect for a lunge up the inside. Take a lot of the inside curb. You can take limits on the exit as well as you head towards Pirelli. Then coming in to one of the most famous segments of all as well. It's remained the same across all variations of the track. The Vorts curve. Flick the car in for a double, then rise up the hill over the crest in towards Jochen Rindt and turn 9. Flick the car in on pit entrance, watch out for cars coming in. Red Bull Mobile comes up with you once again. Attack it, use the exit curb, DRS across the line, and that is a lap of the Red Bull Ring.
Okay.
It's the sprint shootout for the F1 Austrian Grand Prix. A qualifying session that always delivers in 2024 unpredictability. Let's go down to Ted Kravitz in the pit lane.
That's what's adding the downforce for McLaren, and that's what they hope is going to put them ahead, yes, ahead of Red Bull Racing, even though it's Max Verstappen who's been quickest so far. Let me just update you quickly on Ferrari next door, where they've played around with the car so much in the first practice ahead of this sprint qualifying session. Look, they're still playing around in the front, and as Carlos Sainz to our left is getting ready with focused, intense focus focus, in his eyes, the focus of Ferrari's been on the front suspension geometry. They've been playing with torsion bars here and there, going for a hard torsion bar, softening the suspension up at the front. They just can't get the front of this Ferrari to bite, to give Sainz and Leclerc what they want in these corners. Hopefully, for their sakes, they've got it right. A frantic hour of sprint qualifying to come.
Thank you very much, Ted. Let's introduce Jess Ball, who's back with us this weekend up in the commentary box. Hello, Jess. This is going to be a very interesting session because sprinting in Austria always delivers as one of the better races, but this shootout sometimes works, sometimes doesn't work as well. What's your take on it?
Well, we've been seen in some occasions where it doesn't work, but I think with how close the cars are this year, I think it could work due to the amount of overtakes we can see this weekend. I know, based on what I saw in F2 qualifying, they've done a lot to make sure no one exceeds track limits in turns 8 to 10. So hopefully that changes quite a bit. And I know in F2 we've seen quite a few unsafe releases. So let's hope we don't get that. But usually I think most Austria races delivers, but if there's more than one, sometimes the second one could be a bit predictable. We saw that, I remember, in 21 or 2020, where we had 2 Austrian races back to back, didn't we? And then the first race delivered and the second race was a bit, yeah. So we'll see what happens anyway.
Megan's very frustrated because she thought she'd only be doing one Austria race this weekend. Then she's remembered it's a sprint race, which means she's actually doing 2 F1 races here and 2 MotoGP races here, which means she's doing 4 in total. And she's not best pleased now that she's known that as well.
This is my only one.
Yeah, this is your only one, so I'll come into it for the whole one. Ferrari looking quick, but Red Bull. Max Verstappen had that problem in practice 1. I don't know if you caught up with it as well, that he stopped with a problem. He is, of course, facing issues. Now, if that gives up now, you only really lose the sprint. But if that gives up as well in qualifying, costs him a grid position, it's going to be hard for him in the race to close back up because we know how fast the McLarens and Ferraris are. It was Mercedes also had the pace this morning.
I was having the debate with my parents yesterday about the fact that as soon as we head to the 2026 regulations, it's like a pattern. As soon as the cars get closer, then a new regulation changes. I like the fact that McLaren are closer. Norris just missed out on the win in Spain. Ferrari, they're hopefully going to find some grounded. So Verstappen's time was enough for FP2 fastest, but it's going to take a while, I think, to recover Verstappen. But we know Red Bull like to do well here. It's their home Grand Prix after all, and they want to see one of their drivers come out on top. The driver I'm keeping an eye on, Josh, is Sergio Perez. Has not had the best of qualifyings in the European rounds. Max Verstappen's beaten him by quite a way. If Verstappen struggles, the Red Bull team have got to rely on Perez to pick up the pace, because otherwise he could be in a bit of trouble.
Absolutely, and Perez was 12th this morning in opening practice as well, so there's still a little bit of improvement to do, but we're gearing up then for the start. It is going to be a little bit different to what we're used to here as well, remember. It is going to be a sprint shootout. Now, to explain how this rule works, we have Q1 at 12 minutes, then an 8-minute break before Q2 at 10 minutes, another 8-minute break, and Q3 will then go in at 10 minutes. Now, all that adds up to 44 minutes in total. So it cuts down 16 minutes in the overall standings for the weekend. But there are differences. In Q1 and Q2, you can only use the medium compound tyre. And in Q3, you can only use a brand new or previously used soft tyre. So it really does sort of hammer it all down as to what you're allowed to do. And I think, Jess, as well, that's what gave us, especially in China in mixed conditions, Lando Norris got the pole position.
Yeah. It was a shame that Lando Norris didn't convert it to a win because he didn't have a good start in China, to be fair. But I remember you and Megan were going crazy in the commentary box. I was watching it in my office at work and I screamed for joy. Luckily, I was working from home at the time, so I was able to scream the house down because I think I was the only one in the house at the time. But McLaren have a package for qualifying. We know that. Piastri may have more upgrades as well, so we can see how the McLarens look this weekend. But let's get to sprint shootout.
It's time for our third sprint of 2024. And it takes place here at the Red Bull Ring in Spielberg, Austria. It's round 11 of F1 2024. A sprint weekend at the shortest track on the calendar. Seems logical. 4.318 kilometres, that's 2.683 miles. Full throttle at 69.42% of the lap. We have 3 DRS zones across 10 corners that the drivers only realistically drive 6 of them. It's a fast circuit, it's a wonderful circuit, and this is what gives Formula One the ounce of speed. Rain in the air, blue skies at the moment, which is great news. Jess Ball and Megan Birch alongside me in the commentary box. But up in Sky F1, I've got to say this. I want to hear Martin Brundle alongside Harry Benjamin.
Who took pole for the sprint at this track last year, finished FP1 in P1. Can he do it again?
I think he's got every chance, but he's got a lot more competition this time around because McLaren are on it. Ferrari are confident. Mercedes feel like they're really finding their way with their Formula One car, with more to come as well. So Verstappen was lucky this morning, had a car issue and stopped, caused a red flag. Was very smart where he parked the car, of course, and they put him straight in the garage. So nobody else was on the track at that time. They fixed it quickly, took a sensor out of the system, and off Max went. So he didn't lose anything compared to the competition, and got out there and got a decent number of laps in. But he knows full well that everybody is now on his tail in the top 10, and it needs a perfect lap. And it's the 5th shortest circuit on the calendar, but the shortest in time, and that means when all 20 go out for SQ1, they will be tripping over each other. And you know how it is sometimes, whichever queue you get in, you feel you're in the wrong queue, don't you?
Yeah, if you need a little reminder, SQ1, just 12 minutes, and it is still the same as normal qualifying, with the bottom 5, the slowest 5 drivers eliminated come the end of those 12 minutes. There's a little tweak to the tyres as well, if you need a reminder on that. For SQ1 and SQ2, new medium tyres are mandatory. And then in the final part of sprint qualifying, SQ3, drivers must run soft tyres, but they don't.
Yeah, and I think it's wonderful to hear Harry and Martin together. I've wanted that for a long time, and now we get to hear it as well in this session. So do forgive us if we throw to them at some points in the session, because hearing Martin Brundle and Harry Benjamin is going to be quite interesting. But also, that is Martin's 5th lead commentator he's worked with and 6th commentary box partner, Murray Walker. And then alongside James Allen, Jonathan Ledger, David Coulthard and David Croft. And now Harry Benjamin.
And don't forget, Martin Brundle did lead a few as well in 2011.
That was David Coulthard he was alongside of in that box. So, green light.
Yeah, that is true, yeah.
Yeah. So there's that.
He's a good lead commentator back then as well, because he got that experience from the likes of Murray Walker.
Yeah.
That's what helped him.
Says he much rather prefers the co-commentary analysis role, though, which is why he moved there in Sky in 2012 and fell back into his trusted position. Green light goes on then, and we are underway for SQ1 here at the Austrian Grand Prix, a sprint shootout. There's Jos Verstappen, of course, in the background of the Red Bull garage as well. How much is he going to be hoping that his son's car is A-OK? Red Bull have fixed the car. Josh T was telling us in the build-up to this session. He'll be with us in around about 10 minutes' time, joining in the pit lane. sun's out, guns are out as well. Looking at all the people there. There's 2 men there.
No, he asked, have they?
Have they?
He
Oh,
asked the
right,
question,
have
have they?
Oh, yes, they have. They have fixed the car. Just taking a look there, Jess. It looks like some lads there on a stag do with the fluffy pink hats they've got going on there as well, which is quite funny.
Love it.
No,
Imagine, my dream would to have like a hen do at a Grand Prix, but I don't think many people I know like Formula One, so I would probably have to invite like my male friend or something if it ever happens. But I'm single, so a wedding is way off the cards.
Same here. Frankly, as well, I'm tired of it. There's not enough time in a motorsport season for everything else that goes on.
Exactly, yeah.
10 minutes together in this session at the Red Bull Ring. Is that Bianca Bustamante? I can't quite tell looking at the side there in that McLaren shirt. No, it's not Bianca Bustamante.
That is not Bianca. That is a F1 fan that looks like Bianca.
Yeah, very. It's weird how they all get through as well. Bianca is, I think, here this weekend, but in the media role in the new area. No one's gone out in the first 2 minutes of the session, so let's go down to Ted.
Martin, hello everybody. Yeah, I know. The session starts. I'm all excited. I've geared myself up. I'm standing in my Styrian wood bird-watching hut at the end of the pit lane, ready to count them out because we've got a green light right in front of me, and then nothing. What am I going to do? My Julie Andrews impression? Give you a round of the hills they are alive with the sound of music. Oh, anyway, well, I've nothing to do. So, well, they're getting going. And I can tell you, actually, I think you're watching RB. I can see on the big screens across me from the pit lane. And they have got a mismatch, a hodgepodge, you might say, of new bits and old bits. The team boss, Peter Bayer, just saying in the last couple of hours that the upgrades that we brought to the last race in Spain tricked us. The upgrades tricked us. Well, they're trying to decode that trick and get Yuki Tsunoda and Daniel Ricciardo out of this SQ1 session. But it's Lewis Hamilton. Thank heavens for that. And followed by Valtteri Bottas and Yuki Tsunoda, who's coming out. You see, they all wait for ages, Harry, and then they all come out together. But those looking like they're on their back foot coming in to this sprint qualifying one, as we see the other Sauber of Zhou Guanyu and George Russell. George backing everybody up now at the end of the pit lane just to get a bit of distance, so he's got a clean lap. Logan Sargent, Kevin Magnussen, the other Williams of Alexander Albon, and Valtteri Bottas and Daniel Ricciardo. Those 4 drivers that we've seen out are really going to have a hard time, but they're going to need something magical in there to get out of this SQ1 session.
Thanks very much, Ted. So we're underway then, finally. Medium compounds, of course, brand new across the board, mandatory, which is why we saw this morning in free practice 1, not a lot of drivers or teams were using more than one set if they could help it. And track temperature is at 43 degrees, air temperature 27.3, 42% humidity as well. 940 M-bar at the moment, no rain in the air coming into it, so it's all looking good at the moment, Jess, for some smooth, calm running as Lando Norris comes out the circuit as well. But the pit lane here, uphill, and it's a killer on the clutches as well, so that's why we see them usually having to select second gear to crawl up the hill.
I can't remember when I do a race around here what gear I go into. I just don't notice, to be honest. But yeah, it is quite a steep incline as you go through, even in towards turn number 1. The sun is so blinding as well. So Hamilton had a bit of an off in turn 1, Josh.
Massive snap coming to the Niki Lauda curve at turn 1. The rear stepped out over the sausage curb, and Lewis fighting for control with the wheel, just about holds it together. And he's really pushing quite hard, but that lap time is gone. I wouldn't be surprised if he backed off, Jess, but I suppose you need to bank a lap time with only 7 minutes to go.
Yeah, because otherwise he could be in danger getting knocked out of SQ1. But don't forget, the main qualifying session is tomorrow, but you get point in the sprint, and Mercedes do need all the points they can get right now, as we've got a replay from Lewis Hamilton as he heads towards turn number 1, and he lost it on the curb. And he's purple sector 2 though, so imagine where he would have been if he didn't go on to the curb in turn number 1. And George Russell beats the fastest sector 1 time at the moment, so he's getting there. So Lewis Hamilton goes up to the line to benchmark everybody, and it's 1.6.4 for Lewis Hamilton.
So the first sector between Hamilton and Russell was about 0.3 of a second. Hamilton's was a 16.881. Russell is a 16.504, so expect that to change over in a second. Sonoda goes second, Bottas third. We've got the new gravel that we've got to keep an eye on with track limits, which is at the exit of turn 9 and 10, also at the top of turn 1. So that's going to be a factor to keep in contention as well. How many of those limits are going to fly through? Hamilton's had a lap time deleted for track limits at turn 6 on his last lap time. So Hamilton's time then was again further wrong. So that's going to be coming up on the board. Russell's on 105.764, Piastri 106.289. But start the count, I suppose, Jess, about these lap times deletions. They're going to be coming in thick and fast. They're done by AI now.
Yeah, are they done by AI, are they? So not done virtually? Oh, God.
No, all by AI.
Oh, Norris had a bit of the gravel there. Because sometimes you don't trust AI sometimes in getting things right. So they could detect some things wrong. Remember what happened at China?
Yeah. Norris has had to have his lap time reinstated in that session.
Yeah, it got rescinded, yeah. And then it was Lewis that got pole, but then he was like, no.
Fastest lap time coming through
yeah,
as well.
Yeah, we might get the same here.
Yeah. Russell does a 105.764, but we got Norris, who went up the order. Zhou's had his lap time deleted as well. So he too finding some deltas. Gasly trying to improve and struggling at the moment. Gasly's a 106.760, drops down the board as well. Seems like my timing screen up here has failed. So we have no timing. So I need to just quickly for a second, Jess. Sorry, Wes. Might not need to, actually. Yeah, I need to just quickly turn off the TV pictures for just a split second. We'll hand over to Sky while we do this.
I did close Team Viewer, Josh.
It's not that, it's my MacBook.
But not by a country mile, though, is it? 4 different chassis in the top 4 at the moment.
To the line for Sergio Perez, who doesn't have the time compared to his teammate. Half a second down on Max Verstappen. It's Russell, Sainz, Norris, Leclerc, Perez, Piastri, Ocon, Magnussen, Sonoda, the top 10. Still waiting for lap times from the 2 Aston Martins. Alonso gives us one. It's only enough for 14th fastest. His teammate Lance Stroll coming into the final sector now.
Yeah, and Stroll comes across the line and he goes up to 5th, 106.037 as well. So time's starting to come through. At the moment, I understand that there's a problem between Discord. It's Discord that's lagging the system. So Discord's being a bit of a pain in the behind. Sargent goes 12th, 106.
You're my camera off.
No, it's not that. It's my camera, the TV pictures. I need JT when he gets in to do TV pictures and it should be fine. So, as it comes in as well, who did we just have an improvement on lap time there? Hamilton.
Josh Cheat finishes score at 4.
That'll be fine. Oh, well, pointless, really. Hamilton off track at turn 6, coming into the vortex curve, and that's where he's lost up as well with the diffuser. So Hamilton going wide. This is Zhou's lap time deletion. See that blue line and the 2 dots in between? There are lasers pointed at equidistant parts on the circuit that it detects automatically if you go over that blue line. So if you go over that blue line, that's it. Bye-bye. Apparently, coverage...
I'm keeping an eye on...
Gorgeous.
Sorry. I'm keeping an eye on multi-view. I was about to say timing 71 there on the lap time deletion. So I think we're going to get to see a lot of them.
Yeah, me too. Eyes have focused hard on those screens, as Toto Wolff is as well. I must admit, Megan is taking her time. She does know, but last time I got that was 10 minutes ago. With 2 minutes to go of the session.
To be fair, though, she's in a lot of sessions this weekend.
She's done 2.
No, I mean tomorrow.
Oh, yeah. Tomorrow's, yes. She can moan at me tomorrow, but today she can get a backside in it. So Hamilton again closing in.
I'll need you to send me a few things for tomorrow as well for FE.
I haven't even done that yet.
FP2.
Yeah, we'll get on that later. Someone's kicked up dust in the last corner. Someone's kicked up dust.
How's Lewis?
No, someone else. Someone's ahead of Lewis. So if that's Hamilton now...
Bottas, that time deleted.
Yeah, there you go then.
No, that wasn't turn 9. That was turn 6 where he invalidated.
Could have been Verstappen.
So it was,
He was on a build-up lap. He's just gone ahead on the driver tracker.
should I look at the driver? Yeah, it could be Verstappen. Yeah.
Just trying to find out where it all is. It's like you just need to.
I'll check the AI.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't say it on the AI either. The AI transcriptions.
It's actually the mini-map that's causing problems as well. So I need to play around with that in between the two sessions. Alonso on the driver onboard camera. Look at the traffic coming through in Pirelli at turn 6. Hamilton has got Verstappen's backed out because he's hit traffic too with Ocon, Piastri and Zhou. So they're all there. Lewis again touching the exit curb. Zhou 7-10 down. So everyone having to back off on the track. Everyone is just getting caught out on this track action at the moment as they continue to come in. Better late than never, as 20 seconds left in the first session as well. Hamilton only goes 11th. Hulkenberg, Alonso, Albon, Ricciardo, Zhou in the drop zone.
Hi. Oh, 10 seconds. Who? Alonso! Alonso's in 17th. How did that happen?
Yep.
Checkered flags out. Albon manages to go into 15th position on 106.754. Here comes Nico Hulkenberg. Look at the gaps. They are so monumentally close in the bottom 6. Hulkenberg goes into 13th. Alonso goes through. Bottas is out on exactly the same time as Sargent. So that's quite unbelievable. Ricciardo goes 14th. Hulkenberg's now at risk. Can Sargent go through? He does.
The yellow.
Yellow flag, and off the track goes one. Oh, wait, Tsunoda. Tsunoda's had a spin. Charles Leclerc's gone through that yellow flag
that's it
zone.
then. That must be it then. No, it's Gasly.
No,
It's not Gasly because he was in the...
Right, so there goes Tsunoda blocking Leclerc's lap time. Here comes Pierre Gasly as well, coming through. 19th at the moment. Ocon is P9. That's still settling from Tsunoda's off-track excursion. Gasly crosses the line, goes 11th, 106.465. Ocon stays in 9th position. It's Albon and Zhou, the last two we're waiting for. Albon's not setting an improved first sector, neither is Zhou. SQ1 ends with Ricciardo out. Hulkenberg, Bottas, Albon and Zhou. And a shocker from Hamilton.
Sargent now qualified his teammate.
Looks like we are safe.
And Lewis Hamilton just...
Yes, Jess, he has.
Show it's a sprint.
Yeah.
14th. Yeah, show him as a sprint. 14th as well.
If he can do that tomorrow in actual qualifying, that's a big improvement for him on the board.
It would be.
But this is Tsunoda, who is through in 15th position, kicked out his teammate by 24 thousandths of a second to Daniel Ricciardo, and this is how it happened. This is Tsunoda's spin though, gets on the gravel line of 9, and he just lost him. Now that is going to be a huge accident. I don't think that gravel was the right one, because that could have been a huge one for Tsunoda.
Understood.
Indeed.
Aaron did the similar thing in F2.
He was very lucky to get through anyway.
I'm
Sorry,
surprised.
Megan.
Look, if we have an exterior angle of this, look how close he gets to that pit lane wall. Watch this, so he hits the dust, spins across the track, and there's the pit entry wall, and he almost whacks it. Piastri's had a lap time deleted as well. So that's put him 6th place, so not too big of a difference.
Yeah. Luckily, it wasn't
No.
his last lap time.
Yeah.
Well, it's only his last lap time, not
Yeah,
his big
11th.
one.
11th. He's put 11th, surely, right?
So let's take a quick
Sick.
let's take a quick look at the session results then. So the top 15 going through: Verstappen, Russell, Sainz, Norris, Stroll, the top 5, Piastri, Leclerc, Perez, Ocon, Magnussen, and then out goes Gasly, Alonso, Hamilton, Sargent, and Tsunoda. They're through. Out goes Ricciardo, Hulkenberg, Bottas, Albon, and Zhou. What about session there, Megan?
No, it wasn't.
From what you saw.
Yeah.
Jess, what did you make of the opener here?
Nice to see Sargent through. Let's hope he does that tomorrow, please, in actual qualifying. Not surprised about the two kicks Albers. Again, not good for them at all. Shame for Hulkenberg as well. Honestly, Danny Rick, I think he's on his last legs. I think if he doesn't keep up those performances, he can't just rely on 1 or 2 good performances to keep his seat. He's got to have consistent performances throughout the season, and he's not proving it at the moment. And there are rumours that Liam Lawson could take the seat. Ricardo's got to deliver. in the sprint tomorrow.
He really does. SQ1 ends then. Coming up shortly will be sprint qualifying 2 of 10 minutes in length. So, all set to go then for qualifying number 2. We'll be handing back over shortly to Harry Benjamin and Martin Brundle for some updated information from trackside as well. Max Verstappen topped the timesheets. 74 thousandths of a second to George Russell as well. Megan, that's incredibly close once again, but...
What is it with them getting so close?
Look who's P5. Lance Stroll
Yeah,
doing
I
something in
noticed.
this sprint session as well. He's still up there.
Seems to be a good weekend for him so far.
Don't forget this.
Oh, I still need to tell you the F2 results as well.
Dennis
for
Hauger's
qualifying.
got pole position, I think. But go on, Jess, while we've got this time.
And do you want to know who got second?
Who?
Dirksen.
Oh, brilliant from Dursken. Anyway, we just got...
And the gap is 8 thousandths.
That's impressive. Let's head down to Harry Benjamin.
Out after SQ1, Daniel Ricciardo, Nico Hülkenberg, Valtteri Bottas, Alex Albon and Zhou Guanyu. But it was a very close call for the Mercedes of Lewis Hamilton and Scott Moore.
Yeah, thanks, Harry. Yeah, so let's have a look at where it started to go wrong for Lewis into turn 1. I'm just going to slow it down for you as he loses the rear end on power as Martin picked up. That was a real close call, that one, because the car got into a momentary tank slapper. He did well to hold on, but obviously he went off the circuit later on in the lap at turn 6, as we see here. Now, they have modified this part of the track as well by bringing in the white line. So he's got more room. He's got, you know, if you go off onto the gravel, you are very much off the circuit, but the gravel doing its job there, slowing him down, but the lap time gets deleted anyway because you're over the white line. And then on that final lap, he was really having to really hustle the car way too much. And in turn 10, tentative stuff. He's losing grip on these tyres, and it was a bit of a scruffy lap in general, but so lucky to make it through. Yeah, I'm sure Mercedes were biting their nails there at the end. Back to you, Harry.
Yeah, cheers, Ant. I'm sure they were. And, well, it might be a good time then to check in down at Mercedes with Bradley Lord at the heart of the Mercedes garage. Bradley, were you watching that and biting your nails at the same time?
Yeah, a little bit. It was clear from sort of turn 1 on Lewis's first lap that that one wasn't going to be necessarily quite enough to get through. So it was certainly closer than we wanted. But he said on that first lap the tyres were just a little below the temperature target, and therefore he didn't have the grip into turn 1, and then obviously the off-track moment as well. But fortunately made it through, and I think George's lap showed where the car sits more naturally on a clean lap.
Yeah, I mean, conversely, George had a pretty serene session. It all worked out nicely for him.
Yeah, exactly. He was slightly further back in the queue. A few cars pushed in as they were heading out of the pit lane, and obviously therefore had the benefit of the swirl effect, I guess, pulling him down the straights, and a nice clean lap just to slot in P2. So that's encouraging for the next 2 sessions to come.
Yeah, and Bradley, what can you tell us about the plan for SQ2? I know you can't give too much away, but there was such a long wait for cars to come out in SQ1. What can we expect now as we already see cars out on track?
Yeah, I mean, it's about balancing, getting a clean lap and having time to do another lap if necessary, versus the fact that you can only run 1 tyre set, so it's usually the first lap that counts. So we'll all be on mediums, obviously, as the rules require, and just trying to get that timing right out on track so that when we're out there, we get the best compromise between the track at its best and not getting held up or queuing in the pit lane. But that challenge gets progressively easier to manage with fewer cars on track, obviously.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you very much.
They're literally firing up now as I speak. You can hear the engines in the background just heading out of the garage.
Brilliant insight, Bradley Lord from Mercedes. Thank you very much. We'll check back in with you at the end of SQ2. Thank you very much for your time. SQ2 already underway. Just 9 minutes left of the session, and all heading out on track at the moment. Verstappen, Sainz, Norris, Piastri, Leclerc, Perez, all making their way out onto the circuit, as does Charles Leclerc. Yeah.
So, all set to go then in this one. Let's see what delta can be found and who's going to have the better run on this session. Reminder, those out, Tsunoda's in by 24 thousandths of a second, despite Tsunoda's spin in the session as well. So it's all still changing through.
That milk I had just now tasted a bit off.
Random again, conversation
It's
from Megan.
and yet again another one that started leaking, and it takes off.
SQ2 is underway then for the Austrian Grand Prix. Max Verstappen starts a lap time, gets just on the rumble strips up at turn 1, punches hard down towards turn 2, up towards turn 3, which is known as Remus. 16.577 is the first sector. Down the backstretch, opens up the DRS. Turn 4, Sochless Gold as well. Used to be the Bosch curve. He's up into 8th gear, 316 down to 323, down the brakes, 3rd gear, 110 kilometers an hour at the DRS. Up now through the kink. This will come through Pirelli at turn 6. Turn 7 is the Vauds curve as well. Flat out if you can manage it as well. Little lift there for Max before touching a wheel on the gravel as well. Coming through mid-corner, downhill towards Rindt curve at turn 9, named after Jochen Rindt. Turn 10, Red Bull Mobile, up towards the line then before Niki Lauda curve at turn 1. It's a 1:05. 1:86 for Verstappen on the first lap time. Come get me, he says to everybody else.
Perez and Norris are answering that very, very happily.
One.
No, Perez can't catch him.
No, he's what, 4 tenths down. 1:05.612. Here comes Lando Norris up to the line. And it's second. It's a 1:05.561. So 3 tenths, 4 tenths. Anyone else go 2? What about Carlos Sainz? Yeah, goes to 2 tenths. 1:05.435. What about Charles Leclerc? Will he go a tenth? Leclerc goes 3rd on a 1:05.526.
You can't be cool.
No, he can't, can he? He's 2.5 tenths ahead of everybody. But Hamilton and Russell are impressive, Jess, as Piastri crosses the line to go second. 1:05.379 inside that 10th.
Look at Hamilton.
Yeah, the two Mercedes looking and finding some time. So Lewis Hamilton up first, then there'll be George Russell. 5th fastest though, so you will need to find a bit more time. George Russell struggling a little bit in the final corner, but he goes second. Only a few tenths shy of Max Verstappen. So Russell looking quick this weekend.
So the top 8 who set lap times: Verstappen, Russell, Piastri, Sainz, Leclerc, Hamilton, Norris, Perez, all separated by 4 tenths of a second and all diving straight back into the pit lane. Still yet to centre time: Stroll, Ocon, Magnussen, Gasly, Alonso, Sargent and Tsunoda. So I guess it's just coming through as to who's going to be fastest overall in the next sectors, I suppose. Perez got called to the weighbridge. That's going to cost him a couple of seconds.
I've just seen what is on the AI transcriptions. It's very funny. I will not say it on air because it's saying the B word.
Well, Sergio...
Instead of on the Ray Bridge, it's on the way something.
Female dog.
I'll put it in. Yeah,
We all know.
that.
We all know.
Charles Leclerc. Did he go over that blue line? Oh, he's kicked up some bit of fender.
Let's see it from this angle.
This is at 9.
Oh,
He's on the curve, isn't he?
he just avoided it.
We'll see if that's a lap time deletion. The 2 lasers that you can see will always get broken.
That milk's definitely off. I can taste it in my mouth still.
Hamilton moving down. How do we turn that off?
I don't know. Do you know what I reckon? A crate was dropped in the shop, and
What?
that's why we've had 2 in a row.
Yeah.
No.
So,
Yeah.
4:20 to go.
Well, that reminds me, I need to cancel my milk delivery for,
yes.
for next week.
Jack is silent right now.
My dad doesn't use it. My dad doesn't use it because he has soya milk, and my mum doesn't drink milk. So I'm the only one that uses it. Normal milk.
This is Max's helmet cam. There's the gravel. Max is struggling, despite the fact he's fastest. He's putting wheels on grasses everywhere. Or gravel in this case. This is the Vauds curve. Yeah, just
worrying.
wide.
He went all off then.
Yeah, the
It's
blue-
around almost 1.5 tenths quicker than George Russell, which is not a lot.
Definitely not this track. Pole time last year was a 1:04.391. Remember, this sets the session time for the sprint and they're all on medium tyres at the moment, the C4 tyre compound. We'll get to the C5 in SQ3. Waving, hello everybody. Senna and Joy love Julie. That's nice.
Aww. Love Julie. Aww.
If I see one more thing painted to Ayrton Senna this year. Just one.
Don't look.
I know. You're going to bring your Senna mug out now, aren't you?
Hey, look at this.
I've got a wonderful painting of Ayrton Senna in his Lotus 85 at Portugal. I don't know where that is, actually. I'd love to get that out.
I think it's... Do you know that third drawer in your room?
No, it's not in there.
There you is.
Too big to be in there. It's a massive painting.
How big? Wait, do you mean that big thing? That's like that?
No, Megan. I mean, we bought this before you were born.
Oh, I was going to say, because that one I was thinking
You know,
of was
by the way,
wardrobe.
it's because we have a life before you were born.
But not a very good one.
I don't know. It was better. Still say it was better. We had an F1 shop in Meadowhall. It's gone now.
I was alive when that was there.
Yeah, but then you came ill.
I remember when I was really little, when there was no social media. Most of the time in the evenings, I was just outside.
Yeah, I remember that too, Jess. Megan doesn't.
I was outside a lot as a child.
Only because we forced you.
I didn't get social media until I was 16.
Yeah, but we forced you outside. You still had the internet and iPads and
You lot used... I used to say, can I go outside? You lot used to say, no.
And then what did I do?
Nothing.
Grabbed a set of ladders,
Go
all
outside.
my flags, and let you go out on your bike during lap times.
I used to go out and sit on the trampoline and stroke next door's cat. It was so sweet.
Oh, and Stroll gets on the curb, exit of turn 9. Still doesn't improve. 105.847. Ocon is 3/10 down. Tsunoda's down 2. So's Gasly. Verstappen, the top 4 in the pit lane actually, so they're not going to improve. That's Verstappen, Russell, Piastri, Sainz as well. So everyone 5 below have decided, okay, we need to go again and push hard. Here comes Esteban Ocon and towards the line, and he goes into 9th. Perez. Oh, he doesn't improve either, does he? He stays in 8th position. He gets another lap time in. Gasly, not improving. Tsunoda is still 11th.
Is there something wrong with them all or something?
Oh, it's got to be another anticlimactic session, I feel. Here comes Pierre Gasly.
Ooh, Magnussen's starting to get purple.
Gasly comes... Oh, really? Yeah, he is. 16.519. Gasly goes 10th. Out goes Stroll and Tsunoda. Alonso, only 12th.
Jeez, they really aren't trying.
Sargent, 14th. It's all down to K-Mag.
Looking good.
Fastest first sector, personal best in the second. He's into turn 9 and 10. Can we get Magnussen into qualifying 3 to keep it on despite Hülkenberg was kicked out of Q1? He's only 11th. 49 thousandths off the pace of Gasly. Perez, though, is 2 tenths down as Sargent's had a lap time deleted by the stewards. Perez backs off thinking he might not need it and will come into the pit lane this lap. I think that's true. Flags out. Anticlimactic end.
So let's clarify this. A purple and 2 greens managed to not get through to the next session.
And both Alpines do progress for the second week running in a qualifying session.
Again.
Yeah, we have them through. This is K-Mag, 49 thousandths down. He was slow in that last sector. Huh.
And more points last weekend as well for Alpine.
So it's Verstappen, Russell, Piastri, Sainz, Leclerc, Hamilton, Norris, Perez, Ocon, Gasly going through. Out goes Magnussen, Stroll, Alonso, Tsunoda and Sargent. We'll get the thoughts of the team in a minute. Let's hear from Harry and Martin.
But yeah, both of them into the top 10, as you point out.
Magnussen as well will be gutted to just miss out. Actually did make it through into SQ3. This time last year was 10th. In SQ1 today, will not be able to follow that one up this afternoon. Right, that's 2 bits of qualifying done and dusted. Out in the second part, Magnussen, Stroll, Alonso, Tsunoda and Logan Sargent.
They're going to go to...
Actually, almost found himself.
Got a big slide in the last corner.
Yeah, that looked lively.
Yeah, found himself en route to a bigger incident and just about managed to keep it on the track, but that is, unfortunately, Lance Stroll out of this session, along with his teammate Fernando Alonso, Yuki Tsunoda in the RB, and Logan Sargent for Williams out.
Yep, thank you very much, Harry. So let's take a... Well, we already know the results to go through, but so we'll leave those swinging in a second around on the screen. Let's get the team's thoughts on the session. Megan, what do you make of SQ2?
I thought it was good. I'm surprised that who has gone out. I mean, I just felt like there wasn't really that much trying going on. Only Magnussen really tried to get out of that drop zone.
Jess?
Well, yeah, it was a bit anticlimactic. It was quite boring end to SQ2, really. I was expecting a bit of drama, you know, but we did get that. So, but sad to see Alonso go out. I was expecting him to go through, but he didn't. But good job from the Alpines. Another solid kind of qualifying, which is not qualifying for them. So, yeah, but another solid first qualifying for both Alpines.
Getting set then for SQ3 to come up shortly to decide who's going to start on pole position for the 24-lap sprint race coming up later on today. Max Verstappen was a 1:05.186 as well. He was a 10th faster than George Russell. He was in second position. Piastri in third, closing it down as well.
Have you noticed how it's the same 5 teams as last qualifying?
Yeah, the team Mercedes.
That is true. Yeah.
I'm sure even down to the appearance.
2 Mercedes, 2 McLarens, 2 Ferraris, 2 Red Bulls, and 2 Alpines.
Again, so impressive for the 2 Alpines to be in that session as well, especially after the way they started the season. Now they're in 8th, 9th and 10th position. I reckon we're going to see... I can't see that changing, to be fair. That order we've got there.
It's due to the upgrades.
Yeah, big
It's
upgrades.
due to the upgrades. They're finally turning a corner, and they're finally delivering upgrades which are right for the car, which they should have done at the start of the season.
That is true, yeah.
But they didn't.
They were, RB though, should have been in this session, but they've been confused, as Ted said, about their upgrades they had in Barcelona, so that's going to take some time to understand. That's why we've got Tsunoda 14th, Ricciardo 16th. Let's head back over then to Harry Benjamin and Martin Brundle as we get ready for the last part of this qualifying session.
End of the second part of sprint qualifying, and Logan Sargent out, but he's out-qualified his teammate.
Wait a little. I didn't quite get T1 and T3 right. Sorry.
Yeah, good effort, Logan. Plenty of opportunity tomorrow.
And that is a good effort from Logan Sargent. Clearly he felt there was more time in the bag for him, but he does out-qualify Alex Albon, who is down in 19th and knocked out in the first part of this sprint quali. And at a time where he is feeling the pressure, you can see in his demeanour that he's not really happy. It's a small win, but it's a win.
Yeah, I've been in that position where a team's looking around for other drivers, and it gets really hard. And when you want to flow inside the car, you want to be confident. The car's moving, and when you're confident, you're just on top of it, you're ahead of it. It must be like, you know, when you're putting or when you're serving, you know, or you're in the goal, you know, in the penalty box, and you want to head the ball, and somehow when it flows for you and it just seems easy, and when you're under pressure you tighten up a little bit, and that's the sort of problem that drivers have when they know there's a very hot spotlight on them, and all that. It's sort of uncomfortable walking through the paddock, uncomfortable walking into your team, and you're just surrounded by negativity at that point. And so to sort of punch through that and ignore it and just let your natural talents flow, easily said, difficult to do.
Yeah, it certainly is for Logan Sargent, who did say in the press conference coming into this weekend that he is looking at all options within and outside of Formula One. A little bit of work going on at the rear end of that Red Bull for Max Verstappen. Verstappen, of course, was on pole for the sprint in Miami. Norris took the sprint pole in China, and you can also ride on board with all 20 drivers for every session this season and listen to their team radio to get started. All you need to do is download the Sky Sports app to your phone or tablet device, log in with your Sky ID and head to the Sky Sports F1 channel to choose your driver. Could you choose the potential pole sitter, Max Verstappen. Well, Sky Glass, Sky Q and Sky Stream customers, you can also access this experience via your interactive button on your remote control. And indeed, Ted, well, the Dutch fans are out in force in the grandstand. The Orange Army absolutely packing them.
They are, and they're being encouraged by the local circuit commentator who's encouraging them to do the Mexican wave, or maybe it's the Dutch wave. But talking about the Dutch and the Mexicans together, half a second the difference between Max Verstappen in first and Sergio Perez in eighth. And that's surely something that Perez is going to want to rectify in this final sprint qualifying session. A bit of a gap between Hamilton and Russell as well, so I wonder how much that scrappy start to sprint qualifying has hurt Hamilton. It's only a 10th in the first sector, but 2/10 the Russell is quicker than Hamilton in the final sector. So Lewis is being made aware and is looking at that data to see if he can claw some of that time back. Lewis actually quickest out of anybody in the longest of the three sectors, the middle one, with a 29.0. But remember, Harry, about the in the famous ding-dong quote from Carlos Sainz yesterday.
How could we forget?
The other point he was making was that he's very, very close, always very close, between himself and his teammate Charles Leclerc at Ferrari. And so it's proving at the moment. Fourth and fifth, it's been nip and tuck between both of them and separated by less than a tenth.
Thank you very much, Ted. To Harry and Martin as well. We're underway. No one's heading out on the track, though. So, here we go.
Do they have fresh softs?
They do. They didn't use any this morning, so they have definitely got the softs. It's not like it's the end of the other qualifying session. That's why they reversed it to make sure it's going to be qualifying tomorrow when they're really in trouble. But, yeah, let's get the thoughts on Bernie Collins then.
Sets. Now, the interesting of the drivers that we have in the top 10, Hamilton did not run a soft tyre this morning. So this is, on one side, he'll have a new soft tyre, definitely, but this will be his first feel of it, his first chance to experience those braking zones and the first chance to push the limit of grip of that soft tyre. So he will definitely be running a new one. Of the others, the reason that they would run used is they retain all of their other new softs for tomorrow, Saturday afternoon, in the main qualifying session. So that's the question that they have to answer now. Should they run the new now or save it for Saturday afternoon?
Yeah, and a reminder that in a sprint weekend, they're limited to 12 sets of tyres for the event. They have 13 at a normal Grand Prix weekend. So you actually lose a set despite having 2 races, and that's 2 hard compound, 4 medium compound, 6 soft compound, all the same for all the drivers. And how you eke those out through, you know, it's quite a busy weekend, isn't it, in terms of your first hour, you want to get out on the track lots, and then you've got to sprint qualify, then you've got to sprint race, then you've got to qualify, then you've got to do the actual Grand Prix. So it's a tall order to eke your tyres out through these sprint weekends.
It's an
8-minute session, and not many people have headed out to the circuit yet for this sprint qualifying. Make the highlights really easy for Channel 4, though, later on today. That's the one perfect thing about it.
Yeah. Gonna have to go out soon.
Yeah, running out of time here. 1 lap dash, it looks like. Ed says, Logan Sargent out-qualifies Albon. What kind of bizarro world are we living in?
Same way where Stroll managed to get 5th in Q1.
That's true. Thing is, it is impressive by Alpine. Or have they just caught up with where they should have been at the start of the season? That's the thing.
Second.
They've caught up to where they are. They should have been at the start of the year, yeah.
They had promise a little bit, but then that went away. I don't know where.
Beth says as well, Danny Rick, what happened to you? He spent half a season out and was supposed to be back at Red Bull. Didn't go back to Red Bull. Then broke his wrist.
Yeah.
So it's all just sort of been one after the other, isn't it?
Do you know what
He's
I feel?
caught Sergio Perez.
Do you know what I feel happened with Alpine? Do you know, like in video games where you have something at the start of a video game,
yeah,
and then it gets taken from you and you have to go find it? I think that's what's happened. Same for Danny Rick, actually.
Wow.
Megan is again with her expert punditry. Sort of stuck with us, and well, you're here in Spain, so you're here in Austria. You've only had 1 race off this year, which was Japan.
Yes, and that's because it was too early, and I'm pretty sure I had things to do.
Coursework.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you were with us in Bahrain, you were with us in Saudi, you were with us in Australia, you took Japan off where we had a red flag, then you were with us in China, you were with us in Miami, you were with us in Emilia-Romagna, you were with us in Monaco, you were with us in Canada, you were with us in Spain, you were with us in Austria, you were with us in Silverstone, you were with us in Hungary, you were with us in Belgium, you were with us in the Netherlands, you were with us in Monza, Azerbaijan as well, Singapore, yeah, same, Mexico, Brazil.
Oh my God!
Megan, you'll win us for the rest of the year.
Probably.
There isn't really another...
Though I will have a test later on this year. It's the only test I will ever have with my course. There's one test, and it's somewhere between September and December. I don't know where.
Megan usually does around about 16 to 18 races a year. So far, you've done 10 already.
Just keep cracking me. Everyone's going to send it now.
Before they get out.
Yeah, Russell's happy. Which means you can do the next 6, then disappear for the rest of the year. Megan's thing is... Actually, the only ones that you really have to do are... Round 1.
Silverstone.
Round 1, Monaco, Silverstone, and Singapore, and the last 5. So that's what, 9 races. Yeah, that's the last 5.
I
Yeah.
won over my quota.
Yeah, well over. Martin Brundle's doing 16 this year, but...
Yeah, I'm beating him.
But Martin's missed a lot because he had a new ankle. If you're wondering, by the way, why Martin Brundle hasn't been at many races, he had a new ankle fitted, finally, after 40 years, since he smashed into the wall in Dallas. So he didn't know...
It took him that long? How much does he hate the doctors?
He wanted to wait for technology to be good enough that he could have the new ankle that would last him 20 years when he'd be in his 80s. Then he's going to take his chances. So he had surgery on it, brand new ankle.
He could have wheelchairs then.
Yeah, he's got a brand new ankle, but he didn't know how long the recovery time would be. Russell?
So this might be tight on time for some people.
You think?
Yeah, we're going in. 2 minutes to go. This is going to be 2 minutes to go, and they're only just leaving the pit lane. This is a really close run here. So yeah, so Martin has taken a lot of early races off, and he says he's mid to end loaded the races. So Martin, from now on, is only missing about 1 to 2 races. Zandvoort and Azerbaijan could be those 2, but that's it. Martin's here for the rest of the season now.
Respect to him though for waiting for 10
Oh,
hours.
Yeah. Next year is going to be a normal, balanced season of Martin, but. The driver's leaving the pit lane now.
What is going on with the pit exit?
Pit exit now. Charles Leclerc stalled. Charles Leclerc could not get out of the pit lane. The Ferrari has stalled.
We had this in F2.
And maybe this will finally, as he's refired it, but he's not going to get a lap time in. Look. 1:13, 1:12, 1:11 at the pit lane. He is not going to get a lap time in. They have screwed themselves like they did in Monza in 2019.
It's a Ferrari way.
I do not believe the bone-idle idiocy that is going on right now with this stupid slowness in the pit lane.
He's going to have to just gun it.
What? So Megan's tear-off rant, I'm sausage curd rant, and Josh B is pit lane rant.
And Hamilton made a mistake exit turn 3. He got on the curb at Remus and he's lost time. It was a 16.408 for Hamilton. Russell, 16.45, so he's quick, but he did go high. Now, where is Charles Leclerc? He's at turn 6 with 23 seconds to go. I don't think he's going to make it.
I've got a funny thing. He's nowhere.
Yeah. He's not going to do it.
Leclerc's not going to do it. 15 seconds left, and it's in the last 2 corners. He's not going to do it. Leclerc is going to... Well, Ocon...
He should be all right.
Ocon, Perez and Gasly does it. 3, 2, 1. And Charles Leclerc does not do it. Charles Leclerc misses out on qualifying as Hamilton goes fastest. A 1:05.270. Charles Leclerc misses it. Russell takes it across the line and goes to sprint pole. 1:05.054. Lando Norris trying to do what he did in Shanghai. Can he take provisional pole?
That's Piastri.
Oh, Piastri does it as well. 1:04.987. Here's Lando Norris. And Lando goes fastest by 2/10. We're below last year's pole time already.
Verstappen's really quick.
Carlos Sainz isn't really quick though as he comes up towards the line. Fault only. Here comes Max Verstappen though. Problems in practice 1. Is it all gone now for the sprint race? He's fastest. A cheer goes round.
By 93,000.
Wow. Perez, Ocon and Gasly still to do their times and they're all together. Ocon will be first. Ocon 7th, Perez 7th, Gasly 9th.
And Leclerc no time because of Ferrari's idiocy.
Max Verstappen has sprint race pole position here at the Red Bull Ring in Austria. McLaren are on the right path, but once again they are second best. Piastri right there too. Lando will be frustrated but happy after 1 hour of practice. Ferrari and Charles Leclerc once again. The idiocy of the team and then stalling the car in the pit lane because everyone was going too slow. They have got to change that rule. It is going to kill someone.
I suppose it hasn't.
Here's it from Max.
Verstappen
is P1 Max.
Yeah, not bad. I think Gala was a bit too quick, you know, with the traffic. We ran out of tires. But all good.
Here's the solution. Go out earlier.
They went out with 2 minutes to go and expected, oh, that's just a bonanza lap.
There's a reason why it was 8 minutes long. You lot decided 2 minutes. Perfect time. No, it isn't.
They need to change this. It's getting embarrassing because is that what we're going to see tomorrow in the qualifying for the race on Sunday?
Ferrari definitely is acting like an embarrassment.
SQ1 incident involving Tsunoda, Russell, Zhou, Piastri, Magnussen, Hamilton, Perez, Tsunoda, Stroll and Gasly, all no further action for failing to follow the race director's instructions. That was kind of expected as well. And the same for SQ2 with Perez and Stroll, no further action as well. Well, today wasn't so bad.
Tomorrow, however.
Yeah, tomorrow, 12:50 a.m. Thanks to Megan, who gives me her laptop, we can do the first session for Formula One. Formula E, sorry. What do you mean, don't forget that? I just said it.
Oh, yeah.
Then F3 Sprint, that's at 8:25. MotoGP FP2 with Megan at 9:10. I'll then take the MotoGP qualifying, their session. I believe. Why can't that? Oh, yeah. And then Megan is with Josh T hosting the F1 Sprint pre-race show. I'll be back for the race. Yeah.
Oh, wait, no.
I was just thinking, you were thinking, why can't I do that? Yeah, because you look at the times. I thought the same thing.
Why am I in 3 in a row?
Well, Megan, we just put you down because that means you're revolving.
Like a revolving door.
Yeah, we go where you're needed to
and then
control.
it's
I'm not an
F2
escalator.
sprint at 12:25.
Yeah.
There's F2 sprint at 12:25 with you, Omi, and Jack, Josh.
Yeah.
There's MotoGP sprint. Then it's F1 qualifying at 2:45 with Josh, Megan, Josh T, and Omi.
Oh, hello.
I'm covering FP2 with the world feed.
I've just realised the MotoGP.
And then it's F4.
Yeah, sorry, the MotoGP sprint race. That's with me and Megan as well, and Maddie. Oh, great. So that's the only one you're doing this weekend for MotoGP, Megan.
I finally get to meet.
Oh,
Davide Valsecchi.
it's you, Davide Valsecchi.
Davide Valsecchi down in Parc Fermé.
Max Verstappen, congratulations. Incredible pole position. You were the fastest in the first sector, the fastest in the last 2 corners, and you gained the pole position. How was your lap and how is your feeling to be on pole in front of this crowd that is cheering for you?
Great to be first here in front of basically my home fans, my home Grand Prix. It was a good day so far. It's really been, nice to drive the car. I think immediately the car was well balanced, and then of course you make some little adjustments going into the sprint quali, and everything has been working really well. So good start to the weekend. Still, of course, a lot of things to do, but I'm happy with today.
Well done, congratulations. And tell me please about tomorrow, because Lando Norris was the man that was the quickest in the middle sector. You were on pole by less than 1/10. Probably is the man that is forcing you tomorrow to fight for the victory. How do you think is going to be the weekend for you?
I mean, we'll find out tomorrow. I'm not really too stressed about it. I'm going to enjoy my evening and we'll try again tomorrow.
Well done, congratulations. Max Verstappen on pole.
So the fans...
Okay, I thought we were going to hear from second place there as well. Turns out we're just hearing from the first position in that one as well. So, as the P1 award is hosted, presented by Verona Kulk as well, the super fan. to Max Verstappen. A wonderful P1 trophy here as well, with a glass image of the track on the Austrian flag as well. Max Verstappen has pole position. Alongside him is Lando Norris, with Piastri in third, Russell's fourth, Sainz fifth, Hamilton sixth, with Perez seventh, Ocon eighth, Gasly ninth, Leclerc. No time set, he goes in the top 10. Out was Magnussen, Stroll, Alonso, Tsunoda and Sargent down to 15th, and Ricciardo, Hülkenberg, Bottas, Albon and Zhou there as well. Well, we're going to get a quick word from Jess before letting her go. Then we're going to get a quick reaction from the Sky F1 team in our build-up, because we're on air for another 10 minutes. So, Jess, what did you make of the sprint qualifying session here from the Red Bull Ring?
Well, it was unsurprising that Max Verstappen got pole position. I expect he will have a bit of a challenge from Lando Norris, but we'll have to wait and see what happens with the sprint early morning as well. Track conditions are going to be different, so I wonder if that's going to come into factor, but we'll have to wait and see.
There's a lot to look forward to for the sprint race tomorrow as well. That's underway. Our coverage for that in the morning is, as Jess said, at 10:15 as well, for an hour 15-minute show to hopefully have a great run around out there on the circuit. Hope so anyway, otherwise we're all in trouble. Thanks, Jess. We'll let you go now before we'll hear a quick word on the F1 team and go through the results. Oh, actually, I'm being told that they're not going to go straight there. They're going to do some interviews. So we'll sign off here ourselves as well. My thanks to you, Jess. My thanks to Megan. My thanks to all of you at home. Right, later on tonight, you can join us 12:50 British Summer Time for all the action from Formula E's Portland E-Prix and their first practice session as well. Thank you, Jess. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you soon. But here in the Styrian Mountains, there's only one song that is being sung, and that is by the Dutch fans of Max Verstappen once again on pole. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.